How do I know who I am as a leader? How do I dig deeper to understand myself? What are the methods? What are the, the tools I have so I can understand myself, where I am now,
Great
so I know
questions.
where I want to be?
Yeah, great questions. Because if you can't answer them, then you can't communicate that. And therefore, you'll set your GPS and you say, this is the end location, and you go. And because you don't know who you are, you look behind you and there's no one.
No one following.
There's no one following, right? If you think about leaders,
Yeah.
leadership is the ability to create followers.
Yeah.
And, even today, when we set the GPS and we put in the end location and we start to drive, then doubt creeps in. Is this really taking me on the right road? Because now all of a sudden, like, I know I'm heading towards Maya, but now it's telling me I need to take the exit to Abu Dhabi, and Maya's in
Dubai.
Like, so there's a level of trust.
Yeah.
And that trust in the vision comes from the communication, the ability of the leader to say, hey, listen, this is where we're going. This is why we're doing it, right? I think I always like to use the example of the difference between a leader and a manager. A manager will come into a meeting and say, okay, guys, this is what we need to do. And so I'm here to talk about who's going to do what, how we're going to do it, and we need to get this done, and by when. Okay, great. Everyone nods their head. That's it. The leader will enter the room and go, okay, guys, this is what we need to do. But I want to really talk about why we're doing it. Why is it important?
Yeah.
Why are we going to do it now? Why is it good for you? Why is it good for me? Why is it good for the company? Why is it good for all our stakeholders, right? Now, how you do it, guys, that's up to you. Like, I'm not going to manage you. I just want you to know that why we need to do this and why we need to do it now. The rest is up to you guys. And that's and that requires a lot of trust.
But does this work with incompetent teams?
It's
the laissez-faire kind of approach?
So you would hope that the why would create the compelling reason to be different. And, so yes, of course. So there's a team will rise to its level of incompetence, right? Just like a leader will rise to their level of incompetence. So we know that. So the key thing here is that does the leader create the right space, the right environment for people, whether they're competent or incompetent, to allow them to be? And so if we say we have an incompetent team, and that's what the leader or the manager believes, well, do you create the right environment for them to thrive? Do you support them? Do you coach them? Do you mentor them? Do you sit down and say, hey, what's getting in your way? What can I do to clear the path? So that's when it's the way in which a leader is going to deal with that level of incompetence or competence. But you would hope through their compelling reason why we're doing this, that people then go, okay, I get it. I now know what I need to do and how I can contribute.
Yeah, amazing.
And I know why it's important.
Yeah, I want to go a little bit back to the increasing self-awareness. What are the tools or what's available activities, exercises, intervention for a leader to increase their self-awareness? It's impossible that we know everything about ourselves, no matter how self-aware we are. But if I am a leader today listening to that podcast, and I really would love to learn more about myself and increase my self-awareness about, my personality traits, my dark sides, my, development areas, what would you advise them to do?
I mean, I think now we are moving into, and something that I've been doing a lot with recently in terms of my leadership development assessment, team development work, is gamification. Because when you set up a game environment or a game simulation, people show up authentically.
Yeah.
And the more that you can create that gamified experience in a safe space, people will show up authentically.
Yeah.
And then it's no longer about the game. It becomes about, well, what did I realize from me playing the game?
That game, yeah. How was my behavior on the spot?
Yeah. So like I get leaders, they go to me, oh, well, Omar, no, we need a business simulation.
Yeah.
I get the gamification, but we need it to be related to my industry, to my business. I'm like, no, you don't. I said, if you do, you're going to get the same behaviors.
Same results.
Right?
Yeah.
And the same results, right? Because people go into what we call work mode, right?
Yeah.
Or they have these natural behaviors and these anchored behaviors.
Yeah,
in
they're
the
anchored
workplace.
in our neuron pathway,
Of
so we
course.
repeat the same thing on and
Yeah.
on.
So when you take them out of an everyday experience and put them into a different scenario, now they show up authentically.
Yeah.
And now you say to them, so hey, you know what, Maya, what did you realize about the way you played the game? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, what do you think you contributed, not contributed?
What you could have done differently.
What could you have done different? What did you realize? And so you've got to go to like realization. And then from the realization, you then go, okay, this is what I realized about myself. Okay, so now reflect on it. Like, so now, because that's where the learning comes in, right?
Exactly. So the
It's not
learning
an-
happened through the
it's
reflection.
not the realization. Because people could realize that, oh, okay, I didn't show up, but don't reflect on it and don't do anything about it,
Yeah.
right? And this is what we have. This is what happens when we deliver sort of standardized training,
Yeah.
where people go, okay, I learned a different leadership model.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to do about it? What did you realize about that leadership model in relation to the way in which you lead?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I realized I don't do this with my team. Interesting. So what could you do differently? Let's reflect on that realization. And that's the learning.